It's Juushinki Pandora. It's a sci-fi. It's a mecha. That's about it. So it starts out with a robot lizard scurrying around and some girl climbing up a mountain. She's like, "We got to get further away." And then some dude's testing out a hyperdrive, but it's not like a spacefaring hyperdrive. It's gonna be something else. And the year is 2038, and he appears to be on some sort of bombed out Earth. Then time for flashback storytelling. So in the year 2031, a new energy source was created, the quantum reactor. But an accident caused the planet to be covered in an evolution field, which infected organisms all over the world, except humans for some reason, unless they just didn't show it, with AI, and blurred the line between machine and animal. So basically, it made these new organisms called BRI. BRAI, and it's always capitalized, so I assume it's an acronym. I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird translation thing. And they evolve rapidly, and they reproduce, and they spread all over the planet. And with no way to deal with them fast enough, humanity is driven to the brink of extinction, and they turn what cities remain into strongholds, and humans fight for survival. 7 years later, they're still doing it. So after that, we jump to a squad of people in robots fleeing from these giant crustacean bari, with someone referred to as a princess. Don't really know why she's a princess. She is. That's what she's referred to. And some bounty hunters swoop in to help them. And one of the bounty hunters fights melee, and one of them fights with a cool bounty hunter sniper rifle. And I've always found it kind of weird when I don't see the actual tactical advantage to having a human-shaped mech with an actual gun and not just having the gun be a part of the mech. But whatever. One of them turns into a motorcycle and it's got a sniper rifle. And the other one flies around and it's got guns. And so they get away, but they don't beat these giant Bri. And apparently the Bri are cutting off a source of food. So it's time to hire the bounty hunters. But the chief is like, fuck you, I don't want to hire these bounty hunters. And then the main army dude is like, yeah, well, we need them. And he's like, alright, well, this is on your head. And of course, one of the bounty hunters chooses that moment to steal this chief guy's ID badge. So, they're probably going to stick around if they want to start characterizing them and shit. We jump back to the sciencey guy from the beginning, and he's the classic overly sciencey, socially inept guy where he's like, the little girl that he's living with is like, I'm mad at you. And he's like, I can think of 103 reasons why you would be mad at me right now. Reason number one, I didn't brush my teeth today, but I did do that. Reason number two, I didn't wash my face today, but I did do that. And she's like, I'm mad at you because you're fucking naked, you weirdo. Put some goddamn clothes on. And he's like, reason 82. And then she throws underwear in his face, and it's funny. Anywho, it's his turn to cook, and he cooks, but of course he cooks using science, so he's completely focused on making it the most efficient energy source that it can be. And he refers to when his stomach rumbles and he's hungry, he's like, time to replenish my batteries. Anywho, of course, right after lunch or dinner, I don't know. The sky's kind of always cloudy, so it's hard to tell what time of day it is. The giant Bri attack, and the attack is heading towards the north of the city, which is where Science Boy lives. And Science Boy is not allowed in the city, and we don't know why. But he's trying to make this hyperdrive because it'll make robots that we use to fight and move, like up to 3 times as just good at everything. 3 times as fast, 3 times as reactionary, 3 times as strong. He's just gonna fucking soup up all these robots with a hyperdrive. And when Chloe is the girl's name and Leon's the scientist dude, when Chloe's like, "You're not gonna fight them, are you?" He's like, "Fucking no, you bitch, you crazy? Do I look like a fighter?" And they're fighting the Bri for a while, and Leon's rushing to like do something with his hyperdrive. I assumed, or do something with some machines. I assumed he was doing like a last test to make his hyperdrive work, and of course it was going to work because he needs it to work now. But no, he's hooking his hyperdrive up to a robot that he's gonna drive under the giant Bri and drop it off because when his hyperdrives fail, they spectacularly blow up. So he's like, if I just let it fail, it'll just blow up. And at this point, the Bri have fused, and he made comments when they fuse. She's like, these Bri hold darkness. And, of course they don't go into what that is, but it kind of feels like it's either some sort of, I don't know, maybe it's some sort of piece of the original quantum reactor that put out the evolution field, or maybe it's like a code. Maybe these are some of the oldest Bri from the, like, I don't know. Anywho, Leon drives his fucking robot thing, because all robots, they move in some way. They move in some way and they fight in some way. So they either have guns or melee weapons, and they either drive or they fly. So he's driving his fucking robot thing towards the Bri, and the Bri sends out these little, like, scatter of missiles that turn into these little crabs. And he's like, shit, my hyperdrive's not working. And that's where Chloe ran off to, because he gives Chloe a memory card with all the information he has, and he's like, run off with this. I don't plan to die, but run off with this. So he's fighting these little robot missile things, and he eventually tries to activate the hyperdrive to get it to be close. He's cooking his grenade, is what he's doing. His hyperdrive's a grenade. He starts it up to cook it, so he can just drop it off and leave, and fucking blow up the big old fused Bri thing. But this time it stabilizes, and it's working. And he figures out that the missing component, the reason it would never work, is the human component, which I don't really get, and I don't really think they explain. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the technology he is scavenging to make this hyperdrive is probably Bri technology. Oh, also he has a Bri repellent. Like, it puts out waves and it repels Bri in his home. Because there are, like, very few things outside of these city strongholds that aren't just destroyed. There's, like, one near him, and I assume his repellent is helping them too, which is why they've set up here. I assume that the technology he took to make his hyperdrive is from Bri, which are machine organism things. They're both. And so I assume he only made a machine, but he is the organism element that lets the machine work. And in the same way that the Bri evolve very fast, finally his hyperdrive working practically, at one of them said it's transforming, and then somebody else was like, no, it's evolving, which is transforming. So his thing evolves and becomes more powerful, and he fucking uppercuts the big old Bri and takes it out and wins. He saves the world, or saves the day. He's all triumphant, and then the main, like, commander dude in the city, the guy that I called Chief earlier, is like, what will you do now, Leon Lau, the man who destroyed the world? So this is the guy that invented the quantum reactor that destroyed the world with the evolution field and the creation of Bri. And now he just made the hyperdrive that's going to save it. So, realistically, I would call this the better Dances with Dragons of this season. I still don't know if I'm going to watch it. It looks a little cheesy. Like I've mentioned before, there are other things I want to watch. Other, like, older things. I kind of wanted to watch less anime this season. Less new anime this season, so I can watch more old anime. But I don't know. This one, if you're thinking about watching Dances with Dragons, I would sincerely encourage you to give this one a try. And hell, give them both a try. Like, watch them episode for episode. I mean, hopefully one of them turns out to be better. I feel like they're very similar. This one's even called Juushinki Pandora, which means Unit Pandora. And in Dances with Dragons, or Dance with the Dragons, the little things, the technology that lets you do magic is called Juushinki. So I guess that means unit. I don't really know what else to compare this to. I did see someone in the comments of the video that I had watched compare it to Code Geass meets Horizon Zero Dawn, which I thought was an interesting comparison. I've watched most of Horizon Zero Dawn be played, and I've seen all of Code Geass. I definitely can see where they're going with that. I think both are vastly better than this. Not to say it's bad. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I'll watch it. If you're gonna watch Dance with the Dragons, I recommend you watch this instead, or at least watch them both and see which one catches your fancy more. That's pretty much it. Peace out.